Ladies and gentlemen, we saved the best for last for our first day. This part of the conversation is the voice of our rangatahi, our youth, intergenerational transformation. Rangatahi Tumeke Group, our speakers today are Maya, Kairau, Nola, Cassidy, Jacob, Taare, Destiny, Naunau, and Angelia, Skerrett. If you'd give them a warm welcome, they're pretty nervous, so give them a warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen. And get your little notepads ready, that it's free and available on your tables. Take some notes, you'll need them. The voice of tomorrow. Do you need extra mics? No, you've got this? Okay, here we go. Anō reira e te iwi te whānau, ngā rangatahi.
I'd just like to invite up Fire Steve, if you'd like to come, and any of our other mentors. That means come. Fire Stevie, if you'd like to come. Tēnā tātou katoa, tā tipune rawa ko koromāku, tēnā korua. Kia ora, my name is Angelia Skerrett, and I'm one of 5 tuakana who have been gifted the Rangatahi Tumeke Scholarship. This scholarship has given us the opportunity to gain a more in-depth understanding about what the future may look like for ourselves, our tamariki and rangatahi Māori. On behalf of us tuakana, I would like to thank our kaiako and mentors, Fire Steph Blair, Fire Hannah O'Regan, who isn't here today, Matua Ivan Hodgetts, Matua Ra Dallas, Fire Stevie Blair, Tā Tipina O'Regan, and Te Runanga o Ngaitahu for presenting us with the opportunity to expand our knowledge and to further our education at today's Wānanga. I would also like to acknowledge all those who have presented today and enriched us with their knowledge and immense wisdom. We are truly grateful, and this is an experience we will appreciate for the rest of our lives. The purpose of us learning about the regeneration of Murihiku is because it is a vital key to the health and well-being of the future generations to come. We all came here today asking ourselves the same question: what do the future changes of our community look like, and what can we do to influence those changes? And the question we tuakana have asked ourselves: what knowledge can we contribute to support the changes happening in our community? We've each chosen a kaupapa to talk about that is relevant to us. Destiny.
Kia ora tātou, ko Destiny Naunau tōku ingoa. He uri whakaheke tēnei no tararaki maunga, no kaitahu anō hoki, he hononga anō hoki ki ngā ti haumua. He kaiako ahau ki te kohaka reo o Murihiku. Due to the current revitalisation of our iwi, we as tuakana have been fortunate enough to have been raised on this land and received many of its benefits. This is an acknowledgement to our past and present leaders who have fought for these rights to be as accessible as possible to us. Although we have come a long way as an iwi, we are still withheld from many opportunities that should be our birthright. Many opportunities that shouldn't be privileges, but first nature to our people. This leads us to ask ourselves, what is it going to look like for our children when they face the aftermath of the decisions we make today, just as we have faced the aftermath of the decisions that were made by those before us? Rangatahi Tumeke is a 5-day wānanga held over the holidays in the school year, which gives the rangatahi Māori a chance to learn about mahinga kai and te aki taio. The wānanga also aids us as rangatahi to establish ourselves in a cultural perspective in te ao Māori. Rangatahi Tumeke, using the teachings and practices of Ngai Māori, teaches rangatahi about te whakapapa o te whenua, ngā pūrākau o tēnei takiwā, me ngā rautaki hei te aki I o tātou taiao. Over the last few weeks, we have had a few hui, and one of the main points that I took away was that there aren't very many rangatahi who leave school and move towards environmental jobs, and those who are working these jobs have no one to pass the mantle to carry on this mahi. This is where Rangatahi Tumeke comes in. These wānanga have given rangatahi Māori the tools and passion to look after our taiao. For me personally, as a kaiako in kohanga, I've used these skills to teach my mokopuna in kohanga. When we study in the first term with our mokopuna, they learn about tangarua, and I have referred back to the teachings of Mahinga Kai to teach to my tamariki. When we learn about Taare Mahuta, I've learned all about the different karakia and whakapapa that you use in the ngahere to teach to our tamariki also. So why not use this platform to further teach and guide our rangatahi, creating a schooling system based for our rangatahi around the benefits of this kaupapa and create opportunities for these rangatahi to move and grow into your platforms. Who is better to look after our whenua than those who have reaped its benefits? Those who are passionate about it and those who have been looking after our taiao since mai rānō. Wai ho mā tātou ngā rangatahi Māori ki te tiaki tō tātou ake taiao. Kia ora.
Tēnā koutou katoa, he mihi nui, he mihi oraha, kia koutou katoa. Ko karangi tuku maunga, ko waipu tuku awa, ko harauta tuku waka, ko te whānau wata wirirangi, raua ko rakaora, oku hapu, ko Jacob Taare tuku ingoa. Kia ora, so kia ora everybody, I'm Jacob, I'm a former Vernon College student and I'm studying a Bachelor of Environmental Management at SIT currently. So for generations, there have been multiple disadvantages that our people have been presented with, whether it be racism, the changes to our economy, the battle of inequality in our community and our rights to land as tangata whenua. The controversy is and disagreements is endless, but we can acknowledge that with loss there is a potential gain, and the potential gain presents opportunities for our people. Hydrogen production is an exciting opportunity that we support, and that exciting opportunity that can help our people regain their past as tangata Māori in the short term, but I'd like to know what opportunities and what outcomes there will be for our people over a longer period of time. Our people need support into careers that are long-lasting and fulfilling. Our people should aspire to do more than the physical labour that was intentionally envisioned for us by colonialism. And so this looks like providing opportunities for rangatahi to get qualified for those higher profile jobs and opportunities to be in positions that that influence decision making, because ultimately we need our young people to be deciding what happens in the future. Okay, the point I'd like to get across is that you talk about job opportunities, but to be honest, what is so great about working a job in a factory producing products for other countries to consume? We need to make sure we do things for our own land and our own people first. Kia ora.
Kia ora koutou. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko tangihui te maunga, ko wairua te awa, ko mahuhu ki te rangi toku waka, ko ngāpui i Ngāti Whātua me te kingitanga o Tonga tōku iwi, ko Nola Cassidy ahau. Kia ora koutou. My name is Nola Cassidy. I'm currently in my second year of teaching intermediate students at James Hargis Jr. I'm sure many of you in here know how crazy teenagers, 12, 13-year-olds can be, so it's pretty full on, it's hectic. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. So I've got a pātai for everybody in this room today. I want you to cast your mind back to your days of school. Okay, for some of us that may have been many moons ago, but for some of us we're still within that school or education setting. So a pātai I want to put out to you is, what kind of experience was this for you? Was it positive or negative? This leads me to a kōrero that I had with my fellow tuakana here. We were at a Wānanga recently where we had a kōrero with some of our teiners, so younger ones that have come through Rangatahi Tumeke or we've been to school with. And amongst that kōrero, we asked them the same questions. You know, how is your experience been at school now? There were many positives, such as they enjoyed kapahaka, going to noho marae, being able to experience ngā manu kōrero and sports, etc. However, there was one theme that remained the same. Our teina felt as though they were disproportionately marginalised in terms of opportunities that other students within the school received. Now, this narrative sounds seemingly familiar to us as tuakana, and that was because it was also how we as tuakana felt within our school. Which led me to then think about how within the education system, Māori have been marginalised and assimilated for the past 120 years. We're still being treated like second-class citizens in many arenas. Why? What will our tūpuna think? When will this narrative for Māori change? So we as Māori thrive in an environment where our language, our tikanga or protocols and heritage are valued. Working in the education system now, I can say that there are some schools that are trying to make a difference so that we as Māori have the same opportunities as some of those other students. We are extremely lucky as tuakana that we were supported by Whai Steph, here she is, Whai Steph and Rangatahi Tumeke to be given these opportunities within our school setting. But it makes me think about the future of our tamariki and mokopuna here in Murihiku. I'm going to share some of these questions that I've been pondering about for the last couple of weeks, and I just want you to have a little bit of a think and reflection on some of these questions. So my first one was, what education facilities will be there to upskill and train our whānau? Will these facilities service everyone in our community? Will these facilities have a cultural element and be fully supportive of our needs and tikanga? And what opportunities will there be for them to thrive and feel culturally safe? Which brings us to here, this kaupapa right here, right now. We are presented with this amazing opportunity to regenerate Murihiku. This is the chance for us all to think, reflect, and change the narrative for the future tamariki and mokopuna of Murihiku. Many of us in this room today will dedicate most of our lives to this kaupapa. That is why we're all here. That is also why we need more rangatahi involved. After all, it is us who will be carrying this kaupapa, and let us remember why we started and who we started this for. So I'm going to go into a little bit of a spiel, and I like to, always in my classes, I like to end on a question or a bit of a whittle to make my kids think about something. So we call them wonderings. So when I think about my tūpuna, I think fondly of them and all the fights they fought to get us to where we are today. I am also aware that I and you too are going to be somebody's tūpuna. I can't help but think, will our future generations speak so fondly of us? And what kind of legacy are we leaving behind for them? Kia ora.
Kia ora anō. Ko hana nui tōku manga, ko ora kaya pakihi tō awa, ko te rawaroha rawa ko Murihiku o Kumarae, ko ngai tahu rawa ko Ngāti Hāmoa o ku iwi, ko taukepa tōku motititi, no ko nei ahau. Ko Asha Skerrett tōku papa, ko Whia Tangata Veilolo tōku mama, ko Hine Taumai Matiroa tōku tamaiti, ko Angelia Skerrett tōku ingoa. Nō reira, tēnā koutou. Aotearoa is preoccupied with keeping protocols from 120 years ago relevant today. The conversation about the inequality of our people is consistent. Whether we as an iwi are disadvantaged or not is always a topic of conversation. But if the majority of our land was bought for just £15,000, how are we expected to thrive to our full potential with just a fraction of what could be? Nevertheless, if we're not sure where to start the conversation, this Wānanga is it. Facing the repercussions of the previous yet current system, it's heartbreaking to have to come to terms with the fact that buying land and property is an aspiration that I may never fulfil. And as a mother, I desire nothing more than for my children to live rent-free on their own land. This is why I'm here, for my voice to be heard, so that my children don't have to fight the same battles that I've faced. Kia mau koe ki ngā kupo o tupuna, no reira, tēnei te mihi kia koutou.
Tēnā koutou, ko mai Kairau tōku ingoa no Murihiku a hau. Ko ngai tahu me ngā puhi o ku iwi, ko te tau te kaumārua I Roden College. So kia ora, I'm Maya. I go to Roden College, year 12, and I'm 16, so I'm one of the youngest voices here today representing Rangatahi Tumeke. So I'd like to take this time to provide more of a strategic insight from the view of a rangatahi. It is a rangatahi who will someday be at the stern of the waka, a waka that will collectively have the opportunity to build right now. It's about understanding what's important to rangatahi so we can build a better tomorrow, a more sustainable tomorrow, where all people in Murihiku will prosper for many generations to come. Intergenerational transformation, what a powerful statement this is. Intergenerational transformation is about reaching into all corners of whānau, iwi, and Murihiku, which includes education, conservation, justice, and employment. And these are just a few things to name. It's about confronting the things that impact aroha mai, rangatahi from a holistic approach and understanding what changes can be made today so that we can capitalise on the opportunity that we call Murihiku Regeneration and profile Murihiku Regeneration and what we can do to raise the kaupapa Māori profile and increase the cultural footprint here in Murihiku. There is opportunities to have rangatahi's cultural narrative weave through every crease of this transformation as we look beyond the horizon. To achieve intergenerational transformation, we need to look at what are some of the barriers in front of us and how these have contributed to the current state that we are in. Some of these barriers may be the alarmingly high suicide rate in New Zealand. They may be the overrepresentation of Māori within the criminal justice system. This may be the percentage of Māori in prison, which the rates have not changed in the past 50 years. These are barriers and symptoms of something bigger. There is great opportunity here for rangatahi to be a part of, for the future and wider lens of this kaupapa and create sustainable pathways. These things matter to rangatahi. We, like you, carry the whakapapa for the generations before us, and we need to be the architects for shaping the future where someday this rangatahi will be the future of tomorrow. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
We're now going to sing a waita for you guys. Does anyone have a guitar by any chance in the building? Okay, a cappella.
Sing up here.
I'm going to go up here.
You go right in front of them.
I just need to go into the microphone. Damn, this is rude. Are we going that way?
Ko te whirika o te taura taka
Thanks, Nola. Ka pai. Tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou te reo rangatahi I puta mai I o koutou whakaaro I runga I tēnei kaupapa, nō reira koutou mā, ka rere tōnu te aroha I runga I koutou. Interesting that the waiata that they sang, in fact, would encompass this whole hui. The waiata itself is about the bonds of love coming together under one banner and working collaboratively, working to become stronger together in one song that we've just wrapped up this whole hui. So interesting when we do learn other cultures, when we learn our native culture here in Aotearoa, especially in Ngaitahu, that we have these beautiful, beautiful sayings and these beautiful songs that actually mean a lot more than just singing and performing. They actually have substance. Nō reira koutou mā anō nei, thank you very much. Your words of wisdom are what is needed at this time, I think, and especially in this world that we are growing in, this new world that we are all growing in. Nō reira, tēnā koutou.